Okay.
as usual, we'll start with a moment of silence. And as we do that, let's all be thankful for what we have, be charitable with our time, talent, and good fortune, and be helpful for others who are in need. Okay, thank you. Um, at this point, I normally call on John to do the roll call, but he's not here, and so I, we have six of us, and I always get a little. I'm never sure we have quite a quorum yet. I'm not sure that we do. I think we need at least eight, correct?
I have the
Yeah.
bylaws close at hand if
Yeah.
you need that.
Well, let's just continue. If we need to vote, we'll skip over
Oh.
that section until we get a full quorum. I think once John is here, we'll be fine. Um, and then when he gets online, we'll ask him to present the minutes from the last meeting, and we'll review and approve those. Which leads to my report, officer report, so president. So I think everyone on this call was at the meeting 2 weeks ago at World Trade Center. Is that correct? So I'm
Yeah.
not going to give a long, drawn out update on that since we were all there and we all know what happened. But it was a good meeting. The main thing about that was that I appreciated the fact that Maria invited us all to attend. Normally, it's just John and I that would have attended that meeting. So having the opportunity for all of us to be there in the World Trade Center and to meet our new Vice President of Human Resources, I thought was a really good gesture from Maria. Now, we didn't get a chance to go over the annual report with her and Juan, but we did have a chance to introduce ourselves and talk about our history. And I think we had some really good discussion about what we do, the contributions we make to our community and to PGE, and the whole concept of mutual advocacy. I think is really resonated well with Juan, and I think too that I was really pleased that he is interested in working with us to preserve our history and our artifacts. And I look forward to seeing how that transpires. Um, but all in all, I thought it was a good meeting. And again, since we were all there, I'm not going to go through all the details. So if anyone wants to add anything at this point, anything I might have forgotten to mention, feel free to do so.
I have a question. I have a question, Greg, about how you see us or how we see us proceeding with that history. What's our next, do we have a next step or?
Yeah, I think the next step is to, reach out to Leanne and follow up with. Actually, I should do that. Follow up with her about what we discussed at the meeting, and maybe get another meeting with just Juan. I think that's how you pronounce his name, I believe.
One.
And Juan,
One.
and really get his thoughts on what he wants to do with this. And because it wasn't, we didn't talk a lot of details about how to preserve our history, but I think he put the offer out there, and so following up with him directly is probably the next best step, and working with Leanne to set that up. The other thing I wanted to follow up with him is he mentioned this too, was looking for ways or opportunities to engage people, active employees that are nearing retirement that would be interested in joining our organization soon. So I think that's another opportunity. So those two items would be, a good thing to engage with him on directly. So that would be the next step.
Well, and just for the record, because this is being recorded, I had a conversation with Patrick Stupak, who said he also has quite a bit of information, quite a bit of stuff, because he worked with Judy, who also has boxes and boxes, evidently, of memorabilia and things. So we want to make sure that we bring those two people into the loop, whatever the loop looks
Good
like.
idea.
Good idea.
Yeah.
So where Patrick kept those boxes?
Well, he has a couple of binders, and I think they're at his house. Just like Judy has a bunch of stuff at her house.
Yeah. So we need to,
And did it, whatever happened with the tour, Greg, the tour of Bull Run?
Sure. I don't know. I heard about that. I saw
Mhm.
some correspondence on that, but I'm not sure where that's going. I think there are
Yeah,
a few people volunteered to go on that tour at Bull Run, but that's all I
And I
know
don't
at this
remember
point.
who's taking charge of that either. I don't know.
Ed
And
is,
I think,
yeah,
Is it
Ed,
Ed? Okay.
yeah.
and the only other thing I would say about the um, historical documents is, we had suggested that we were interested in creating some kind of digital museum or digital format. So
Yeah.
that would be accessible to retirees and others that might have an interest. So, I mean, I think next steps would naturally kind of fall in line with that concept. I mean, starting to try to get some version. I mean, I know PGE, when they created that great list for us, they provided digital pictures, but they're certainly not museum quality. Um, and and but it is a picture, so it gives us an idea of kind of what we're talking about. And I think next steps would be to start trying to get better quality photos of what exists and try to capture it in a file. And I think Ed created a file that we could start putting stuff there. I don't know what the size of that file is, and I think good quality photos are going to take up a lot of space, but I would suggest that that's probably next steps as we start trying to figure out how we get better quality photos of the stuff that we could like actually use. I don't think it has to be professional necessarily. It'd be nice if it was, but I don't think it has to be. But it does have to be of good enough quality that people can appreciate what it is.
Yeah, and along those lines, I think that one of the things that we need to find out from PGE is how much they wish to contribute to this. I
Mm.
agree that this should be a virtual museum versus a physical one.
Hmm.
And there is, and John, I think mentioned this our last meeting was that there is to do it properly, you do need to engage someone that knows how to maintain a digital museum of some sort.
Sure.
And hopefully, I'm hoping that PGE would be willing to help support that because there would be a cost to that.
Sure.
So, but I do agree, and maybe they would also be able to help with the getting better photographs and how to store that and all the stuff that goes along with that.
I think they're going to have
Mm,
to the
yeah,
extent they wouldn't let us get up there and do it, just even do the inventory. Um,
yeah,
I feel like they're obviously exercising some kind of continued control over those assets, if you will. And so I think they're going to have to take the lead on that part of it, the
yeah,
stuff that they have, and then everything else that Patrick and others have at their homes, then we can start adding to that.
yeah. So what I will do, if you're okay with this, I'll reach out to Leanne and see if I can get some of us engaged with Juan and or whoever we need to be engaged with to start this discussion and what our next steps will be with PGE and how much or how far they're willing to support this.
Okay. That sounds good.
Is that okay?
Yeah, and tell me if we need to talk about this topic at our COMCOM meeting, for example, but would it be too much to ask to reach out to Patrick and others that have documents at their homes and ask them to add them to that list that PGE started?
Oh, absolutely. We need to do that.
I mean, at least
I,
if they could add to the list, even
yeah,
just a description, that would go a long way toward identifying what we have. And if
mhm.
something happened to that person, if something happened to Patrick, just hypothetically, and God forbid that should, we would at least know what he had and we could try to obtain that in
Mhm.
some fashion. But right now, I don't have a clue what he has, and I don't know if anybody else does. And the same goes for Who did you say, Terry?
Judy Francis.
Judy. Okay, Judy.
And Ed has been in contact with Judy about that, and I just
Okay.
happened to see Patrick. And
Okay.
one of the things that I think we need to bear in mind is that, you know, we need to have somebody, and whether it's us or who, we need to have somebody sort of our contact,
Right.
make sure that, you know, that we're not,
Yeah, that's happening.
we're just not reinventing the wheel every conversation. So,
Right.
It
so anyway,
feels to
that would
me-
be my recommendation, that we find somebody who's really deeply interested in making this happen, and like somebody like Min Hong who knows how to do this kind of thing.
Yeah, I kind of want the volunteer to start with the spreadsheet and identify the location and who's the owners, you know, things like that. And we can start from there. We already have the list from Adam. We can
Okay.
add a column for that.
Right.
And we can add following that column will be Patrick's and will be Judy and
Anybody else?
whoever at the Bull Run, you know, that kind of things.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
Some kind of inventory and to just start.
Yep.
Minha's good at that.
I can start.
But I do feel like I feel like we're a little ahead of the game to talk to Juan yet. We don't really yet know what we want to do. I mean, what Minhan just said was as close to something moving forward as we
Concrete,
have,
yeah.
besides
Mhm.
just kind of talking about it.
Mhm.
So I kind of think we should wait a little bit and kind of get an idea of what we want to do. And I think Minhan has a good start there. And when we go out to Bull Run, I'm figuring that if there's an opportunity to take some pictures to add to our list, I certainly will be willing to take pictures.
Yes. And also like a location, like a PSC, you know, we have multiple
Yeah.
location that we
Oregon
could
City,
say,
yeah.
you know, so we just need to concur about that. So I can start with the list and then we go from there. And a tab to show the history, you know, when the date we start the conversation and which date we are approached to who, we talk to who, you know, things like that.
Great.
Okay. Okay, that's a good point, Patty.
So Min Hong,
Can't-
what exactly do you need from any of us right now? I guess that's,
I will create a spreadsheet and put in the share drive, and you guys are welcome to add it and preview, you know, and we go from there.
okay, awesome.
So I will create a document, an Excel worksheet, and put
Good.
into the Google Doc.
Awesome.
Can you work with the one that we got from Adam?
With the one we work from Adam. Yes, of course.
I mean, that might be an easier way to start for you rather than recreate another spreadsheet.
Oh no, yeah, I'm not recreating the spreadsheet. I will using the
Got it.
existing one
Perfect.
and create more column that apply to us. You know, like a format, you know,
it.
digital or actually paper or whatever.
Or location, yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Thank you.
No, I'm not reinventing the wheel. We don't have time.
Right.
All right.
Okay, where are we in the agenda? I've already lost track.
You
do not ever want me to be secretary.
No, you're in the right place. You're right place. So,
Okay.
Oh, I have
talked
one
about-
more question about the
Yeah.
annual meeting because I was looking for the meeting minutes, and I didn't see them posted yet. Is that correct, or was I looking in the wrong spot?
They
Well,
have
it
not
wasn't
been
in-
posted as
it
far
was
as I'm aware of.
I was trying to figure out who's on the nominating committee.
Oh, well, I know you're leading the nominating
Well,
committee.
thank you, Greg.
I agreed to
You're
help.
welcome.
And I
And-
remember Cece.
And John, I think, agreed to help as well. John would be a good resource for you because he led the nominations committee last year.
Well, and John reached out to Sham, and my part in that, I said I would reach out to Sham, which I've done. I haven't really heard back much from him, but I think John was the one that really reached out to
recall he
him in
replied.
an official
John
manner.
replied.
So
He did reply, by the way, Terry. So Sean replied to John. I'm not sure if all of us were on that, but my impression from his reply was that yes, he wants to join our board, but not until
The end of the
January,
year.
the
Which
end
is
of the
when the
year.
term would be
Which is the
starting
time, yeah.
anyway, so.
Yeah, but one of the things that I thought if he was interested in joining now, because we do have some openings, we could have, or I had this on the agenda for John to talk about, but since he's not here yet, we'll skip over that. But what I was thinking that Sham might be ready to join now as an interim board nomination versus waiting until the end of the year. But it sounds like he wants to wait to the end of the year anyway. So, and then there was another person, was it
Rick.
Rick? I'm not sure where we are with him. So when John gets online here, we can hopefully get an update from him about where Rick is, whether he wants to join the board or does he want to wait till the end of the year or now? So
So hopefully he'll join the board right away because he has offered to be treasurer. And
right,
Carol could use some, time to help him, transition.
exactly, and that's going to be an important transition.
Yeah.
Question for Terry. Can you twist Angeline arms to ask her to join? She's your mahjong.
Well, I can try. I know that she is really deeply involved in one organization where she's having to take like a week of training and all of this.
Oh,
So
I see.
I'll talk to her about it. I'd be happy to. I'll see her tomorrow. So
I thought Carolyn Moore might be good too.
somebody already asked her if she wanted to be treasurer, but yeah, she'd be great. Yeah.
I asked her if she wanted to be on the board and or treasurer, but I think she took it as if she wanted to be treasurer instead of if she wanted to be on the board.
Yeah. Well, we'll Patty, you and I'll see both of them tomorrow.
Yeah.
So maybe we can toss out a few
Yeah.
bits of.
Because Carolyn,
They'd both be great.
yeah.
I think this is actually a good reminder for all of us when we, for these various activities we participate in, to think ahead and look for opportunities to recruit people that might want to be on the board. I mean, there's a lot of us out there. There's 900 of us, and there's only a handful of us that actually are on the board. So I think all these, these what are you guys doing tomorrow? Is it the
Mahjong.
yeah, the
Mahjong.
Mahjong group. So I mean, there's an opportunity. The picnic will be a great,
I was just
a
gonna
great,
say the picnic's
Oh,
coming up
yeah.
too.
yeah. So all of these things are great opportunities to talk to people and explain to them what's involved. It's not that big of a commitment. And John and I talked about this the other day, and it's, we can phrase it in a way that it's actually it's a fun activity. It's not work, if so to, although sometimes I feel that way, but setting up an agenda, but not everyone has to be president. So that just being on the board is, I think a great opportunity, and a lot of people that aren't aware of it might actually be interested.
Well, I put together a list
Yeah.
of just brainstorming people, and I probably have about 25 here
Really?
that I'll share with the
Yeah.
nominating committee. I mean, I'm happy to share it with you guys, but Christy and I sat down and just kind of started thinking of people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it
What it
comes
takes.
pretty quick.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's 25 people you thought of. So just say one or two out of that 25,
Mm-hmm.
have interest. I mean, that'll fill 2 spots right away. That's awesome.
And those are
Yeah.
retirees?
Yes, I didn't get any live people working.
Oh.
Well, and
No.
so another way to think about this, I'm sorry to interrupt. I can't help it because I'll forget what I'm going to say. Is that I was actually honored and flattered that John McLean invited me to be on the board. So think of it that way. It's like
Mhm.
this is not a drudgery kind of thing where you're on a board where you have to pay a lot of money to support a charity. This is an organization where, we're a bunch of people that,
We're a bunch of friends. Yeah.
Exactly. And the more I investigate retirement and the things that make you happy, and we're doing it all. We are providing all of those things for our members.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Greg, when should we drop that date that Carol need the replacement? Allow her time to train as well. I know she's traveling right now, but
She is traveling right now. I would say as soon as possible. We'll need someone to start filling in behind her because that's not a position you just assuming. Well, I guess you could, but
Yeah, they
it
have
would be
one
helpful.
quarter left, basically.
Yeah.
yeah, we
Yeah.
need to get going on that.
Yes, we do. So
Can I just,
go ahead.
oh, well, I wanted you to finish your sentence, Greg. I'm sorry. I didn't
Oh,
want
I'm hoping that as we go through the nomination process that we'll find someone that will fill that role.
yeah.
But I agree, it needs to be done as sooner rather than later.
I don't know that, well, I'm not the newest board member because Patty has joined since me.
Yeah.
But I just from my perspective, because I'm kind of in my go-go years is
Mhm.
what we call it. I think it's much easier to approach somebody about just being on the board and let the officer roles and stuff kind of flow naturally from there. When I joined, you don't know exactly what you're getting into. And for me, it was like not that I didn't want to be a part of the board. I just felt guilty about agreeing to be on a board when I have so many other plans going on. And I was worried about not being able to be as available
Mhm.
as I feel like, I needed to be if I was going to be on a board. So I think, kind of keeping that perspective in mind too is I would suggest just requesting people to join the board and then we can follow up later about, hey, what do you think about this officer position?
Yeah.
It's just an easier sell in my view.
I
think
agree.
I agree that you're right, Cece, but we're in a little bit of a bind without a treasurer.
Yeah. Well, it sounds
and
like we've got that with Rick,
It
hopefully.
feels like it. I agree.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I agree for the secretary position for sure. Let's just kind of get people on the board and then we can have my feeling was as soon as I was on the board, the treasurer position came open and I was like, I don't need to do that.
I know, right? Yeah. It's a little stress. It's a little bit of a stressor, I would say, to be asked to take on responsibilities right after you join a board that you're not real familiar with how we operate. I feel, way better about that kind of stuff now than I did when I first joined, not knowing even what I was getting into.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, that's a
now
good
Pat
point.
is-
That's a
Yeah.
natural progression when you join a board. Normally you join, at least the ones I've been involved in, you join as a board member and then a year in or 2 years in,
Yeah.
depending
Actually,
on what your interests are, you get asked to
yeah.
Fulfill officer positions, committee positions, and so forth. So,
Right.
yeah, I think that's the right way to go. We won't scare people off if you'll scare people off if you ask them to be,
Right.
oh, do you want to be
Yeah.
vice president or president right away? So,
That's
Yeah,
exactly.
but
Which-
it's kind of like a lucky. I mean, when Jay stepped in right away, he volunteered to back up for Carol, but didn't last long. But we
no,
thought
well, Jay was a natural for that
I
position.
know.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
miss him.
Well, he decided to go back to work, so but he'll come back. He'll be back, I'm sure.
He'll be back.
Yeah.
Welcome, John.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
There he is, just in time for his report.
My report. Oh,
So, John, I'll tell you where we're at. So we
Yeah.
went through a moment of silence. We did my update. Basically, talked mostly about the meeting we had with PGE, which we were all at. So it wasn't a real involved presentation on my part. We talked about next steps for the museum idea and had some ideas around that. And then we moved into your report, but since you weren't here, we kind of skipped over that and just talked about some other things. But that's kind of where we're at. One of the things that was that I had on listed for you was to talk about interim board nominations, but based on some of the correspondence I've seen, I don't think we have any interim board nominations at this point. Sham and Rick, I think, are both end of year nominations, but that's kind of where I'm at. So I'll give it to you to jump in and share your observations and also talk about the nominations.
Uh, yes, I think that Sham and Rick are two very um, I'm very enthusiastic about them and their willingness to jump onto the board and jump into things. I was just hearing Cece, and I think she's right about marketing, getting people to come on, and suddenly they get invited to be treasurer or some officer position. So Patty said it right. I think we should probably maybe take a little different approach. On the other hand, when it's a personal conversation, like what I had with Rick, it was uh, immediately he was saying, "Oh, I could do treasurer." So that kind of jumped from just getting on the board to, oh, one of the officers. So that was kind of a surprise. I think some people are willing to do that because they've had some experience with boards.
Mhm.
And as soon as I said, yeah, we have a budget of less than $15,000 a year, he said, oh, that's not a problem. You know, if it was 150,000 with lots of stuff flying around, he wouldn't have jumped. But apparently he had some experience that said he could jump right in and was more than willing to do that. Sham was another one where the conversation was, oh, and I have an interest in communications and newsletter, and it's like, oh, well, that's jumping in.
Right.
So I think it's an interesting challenge, but the personal approach has yielded more nominees than putting it in the newsletter or reaching out. You just have to
I
pick up the
agree.
phone and
Yep.
start calling people and going to these events. Working the picnic is going to be a big thing, I think. We'll work the crowd
Yeah.
and get them involved in any way. If they just like to be on the board
Lynn,
and
stop.
learn, that's a great way. If you've never been on a board, this is a board you can learn from. We do a lot of very professional things. We have general liability insurance. We've got lots of fun things to where you can learn how to be on an organization. Um, all the way to people that you know already have that experience, and we really would like you to come in and help the leadership piece with the officers. So I'm learning that there really are two ways to we need to allow all those people to come forward.
Yep.
Um, so that's that. My time has been taken up the newsletter. I've talked to Terry a little bit. We waited and waited and waited to publish it because there was so much going on in July to cover. I think that if we had tried to do the newsletter the first week in July, we would have missed a lot of stuff that would have been really old by the time you get to October.
Yeah.
So I think the flexibility of having it is a key to this organization. Uh, be flexible about things is absolutely the way to go with retirees, uh, and not be hung up. I know what at PGE was like, okay, there's a date and a budget, and it was pretty important to hit those dates and hit those budgets. I think for the retirees, we have a lot more flexibility to do things on our own schedule and ask for help from people without feeling like that's a bad thing. Greg and I have been talking about that, and he was maybe thinking about writing an article for the newsletter about the teamwork and the experience he's had. He travels, has houses in different areas, but we back each other up, and that's
Yeah.
kind of key. Ed and Terry do a lot of the same things with communications, and we have a co-treasurer. So I think the co thing works really well for, again, bringing people in, going, even if you have something to do, it's a team doing it. You're not alone. And that's, I think, critical. Lastly, we had, as Terry saw, yesterday was my wife and I had our 57th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
And we look at each other and go, how in the heck did we done that? But we've done it. And so we're headed for the beach right after this meeting. Thank you for letting me be late, but I wanted to check in with you all. And then we are in the truck, pulling the trailer, headed for the southern coast of Oregon. Other than that, I think this is, from my experience, this board is in the best position it's been in. We'd like to have 15 members. But I think the ones that are here are a fun group, and they will keep me coming. Steve has turned into he's now has a column in the newsletter.
Mhm.
And I would invite all of you, what helps me for the newsletter is, and I'm getting ahead, but as you see stuff that is interesting to you as you peruse the papers or however you get your news, and think that might be interesting for sharing among retirees, feel free to shoot me a note and a link or something. I'm trying to come up with things that are of interest to retirees, whether it's changes in tax law. I thought Jay Tinker had a great article a while back on the tax law changes that are coming. I think we can do more with educational on how do you best leave your money to your kids with all the new things in the big bill that passed. I mean, it changed some things about estate planning. So there are a lot of topics. Help me bring up those topics. Otherwise, it's a long report, and I'd kind of jumped ahead. But any questions of me about what we're up to?
I think we're all good. And by the way, that was an awesome plugged in report. As always, John, you do a great job on that. I really enjoy reading that.
That's
So
because
yeah.
I have all you to be a good super.
I know, but it is quite an impressive document when it gets issued. I'm just amazed at what you do with that. So, and
Yeah,
I will submit a write up as I get to the end of my term for the next one.
Yeah, that'd be really, really good.
Yeah.
Uh, Ed's not here, but we did get a couple of everybody remember Laura Rook?
Yes, I remember her. I worked with her.
Yeah.
The first person I worked with when I started in 1983. So what's she up to?
Well, she gave us some feedback at PGE retirees mailbox on the newsletter. And she said, what a great, and the last great was capitalized, newsletter. So we've had some challenges of how do we get feedback from, these 900 people who get the newsletter. But every once in a while we get one that tells me we're on the right track.
Yeah.
Of really stretching what's in the thing, even if nobody ever does the crossword puzzle. I think there are people who do it, but we don't get that feedback.
Yeah.
The humor section, collecting dad jokes and stuff. Minhan, you're muted, Minhan.
Yeah.
So you like the dad joke section?
Yeah. And one part I don't understand, and Ed explained it to me.
Oh,
so
yeah. The one about the refrigerator, all it was Chives talking. She didn't get, but she probably was not a big on the Bee Gees dance group during the disco era.
I don't get the part about the dog,
Yeah.
We talk
the
about
husband,
dog
yeah. The lady that got a new dog for her husband, and the husband is allergic to it. And she said, anybody want a husband?
Yeah, got to rehome my husband. I thought that was funny.
So those are other things that if you see a really good one, let's share it and get it in there. But thank you for that feedback.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Laura
Oh.
Rook is another good one for
Yeah, she would be.
Oh,
For
she'd
being
be
on the board.
terrific. I believe her husband passed and she lives in Goldendale, I think.
Mhm.
I believe that's the last I heard. But yeah, people like her are just, they're $1 million people for.
hmm Yeah. Okay, the next section is the treasurer's report. Carol is out of the country right now, so I asked her to submit or the June report versus July since she's not here to do that. So, Terry, can you bring up the financials for June? And I will attempt to walk us through
Can I
that.
do that? Oh, gee.
Teamwork, Terry, teamwork.
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you that I'm very impressed with myself. I've got the minutes or the agenda and the com report in there. Well, let me see if I can. Let me see if I
I,
can. Might take me a while. We might need to.
All right.
I didn't think about that. I'm so sorry.
oh, that's all right. I was looking at it earlier. I don't think there's
Let me
anything
see.
on it that's let
I
me
don't know.
see.
I don't think I'm afraid I'll lose you and
Yeah.
lose all this other stuff if I try to do that. I'm so sorry.
Quite all right.
Can you do it?
Yeah,
Greg?
I can just I got it here on my on another
Okay,
device
then
here
I've
that
got,
yeah.
then you can share your screen. Thank goodness.
Well, it's on my phone. I'm not
Oh.
I could try
I
to
think
do
you can
that.
share your screen.
Well, we've all
Fine.
seen it. Just
Yeah.
report.
Yeah, we've all seen it. So I guess with the financial report, is there any questions anyone has? There's nothing on there that I saw that was out of the ordinary. I mean, for the year, the main areas that we are over are our website services because I think we had some additional work done on the website. And then the other piece was, oh wait, I'm backwards on that one. We haven't spent as much on that. It's the insurance that was over for the year.
Oh, yeah.
And we all know for the reason for that is because we added some liability insurance
Yep.
into what we're doing. In fact, when I talked to Leanne and everyone at the meeting 2 weeks ago, that's one thing we did mention is that in the annual report that we are going to probably need additional funding in the a couple years from now to cover those insurance costs. But other than that, I think it's a pretty normal year as far as financials are concerned. Our biggest expenditures will, of course, be in December for the holiday party. But and then the picnic is I'm assuming by now we probably had some expenditures on that, but that'll flow through in the July report or the August report. So
Yes, yeah.
any questions or that if hopefully you all had a chance to look at it. And if you have a question, I'll attempt to answer it. Okay.
None for me.
Okay. But
Hello.
by and large, I think we're doing fine financially, and and PGE is now up their contribution to what we requested. So that's good, and they're going to continue to. From what I understood, they're comfortable with what we're asking for this year, for next year, and the outer years as well. So that's all good. All right, committee reports. Next one is communications report. So Terry, that would be you.
So I'm attempting to shorten our communications report because everybody on this call is on the communications committee. So you probably know most of what this report says, but we have 880 people in our database, up from 871. So we have a few more folks joining our ranks. 568 Facebook group members, which remains about steady. The activity groups are going well. Oh, since I was so smart and put this up, here we go.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, look at me. Look at me. I'm so
Yay.
Oh my gosh, you are such a
Good
good
job, Terry.
secretary and webmaster.
Oh dear. Well, it's been how many years we've been trying to do this. And anyway, so the activity groups are going well. The ones that are floundering, the coffee meetings in Hillsborough and Madras. And that the Zoom chat, John, I think you had left the call. last time when we talked about the Zoom chat being on its last legs, and we're going to try it again in August, but it's just not getting any traction. It's post COVID. And so thank you for putting that in the newsletter. So we'll see if we can get some more folks interested in that. You know, we tried the subject, you know, we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about this and this and this. And I posted that on Facebook to let people know. Well, that hasn't generated anything. And when it did generate something, the person that was on the call thought it was another subject. So we tried that. So anyway, anything goes in that conversation. I think there'll be like maybe one or two people that are disappointed. Steve West, do you have any comments on that?
Um, you know, I don't. I think it's a good thing to have people involved, and if we could get it going, it would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it took the place during COVID. We talked about this last time. We met at the Maplewood Coffee House, and we had a good turnout for that. We had people coming from Tualatin for that, but then COVID hit. We went for virtual, and it was great during COVID, but it has just not. I don't think it's one or two people isn't worth our. I mean,
It's
if
not worth
somebody
your
else
time
wants
to
to
do
take
that.
that
Yeah.
over, that would be great, but I feel like it's not really worth our time to.
Maybe we let it die and then rejuvenate it at some point when we feel maybe a quarterly
Yeah.
or annual, you know, something like that, that maybe midwinter, you know,
Well,
something.
yeah,
But
Yeah,
I
when
think
people aren't so
that
busy.
the monthly is probably tired.
yeah, it's just not worth. Anyway, we'll see. We might have 12 people on there in August. We just can't tell. But anyway, and that's kind of what we talked about last time too, that we can put it on the table, but we're going to keep it up in August and see how it goes after that. Minhong, do you have anything to report on? I think we already talked about this at the ComCom, and I don't think there's any new audience here to rehash the great results of net results. But if you want to, do you want to say anything about that?
She's
I think
busy.
I think she's stepped away for a second.
Okay.
I just saw a
And then we
message come
already-
up on.
Then we already talked about the meeting with Maria and Juan and
Yeah.
having a chance to meet Ed and the board retreat. I don't know, did we decide that there weren't minutes of that published yet? I think that's what we,
Well, I don't
didn't
know
see
that
any.
we normally count that as an actual board meeting. We had notes from last year, I remember that, but I don't know
did.
that we went through and reviewed and approved them. In fact, I just remember, John, do we have the minutes from our last board meeting, not the retreat, but the board meeting would have been in June?
No,
We
I
need
haven't. I haven't. I've got the link to the YouTube, but I didn't get a chance to.
Okay,
write
okay,
minutes.
so
we'll
we'll cover it.
we'll have double ones for next month.
Okay, let's do it next time.
Next
All
meeting.
right, and then,
Okay.
So we
But
do
it's-
have annual, there's a spot under the board that it shows all the minutes, and they're broken up by board meeting and annual meeting.
Annual meeting is required to have minutes. It's
And
one of
that's in
the.
November. Yeah.
all right.
Yeah,
There are
and
seven.
that's
There's
where I
seven
didn't see
official
it.
meetings. There's the every other month, and then there's the annual meeting. So that gives you seven.
Okay,
Just as a note, really interestingly, we just had our HOA board meeting, and it went on for an hour and a half, and all the committees have reports and submit reports in writing and all that. And one of the communications chair took all those reports, fed it to Chat GPT, and it wrote a very nice article for the newsletter.
oh my gosh, that's great.
So I think that Greg and I might have to bring in some Chat GPT to our maybe that's the secretary, if we can get one that will review the video and write
Then,
a report. So
You know that,
that was
John,
really interesting.
John, that is very doable. I use
Yeah.
Chat GPT for a lot of things.
I do
mean,
too.
It's amazing what it could generate. And
Yep.
for something like that, I mean, I think it would be perfect.
Well, that will be
Oh my
my
gosh.
future project is to try to get how would we take our Zoom videos and have an AI chat box write us a
Oh,
summary?
that's brilliant. Wouldn't
Yeah,
that be cool?
I
As
think
yeah,
long
and
as
that'd
it
be
that,
very
doesn't take
cool.
over the world, that's all I care.
well, here's
If
here's
you've
the
just
caution.
taken over our
Trying,
agenda and our
John.
meeting minutes, that's all.
Okay, here's the
They're
one
transcribed.
thing I'll say about that. We just have to be careful with it, that you review what it spits
Yes.
out, because and make sure that it's I mean it's usually pretty accurate, but you can
But it
sometimes
can
you
make
find
mistakes.
it
No,
makes mistakes.
it gets you
And
80,
you
90% of the way there.
Yeah, and you want to make sure that it's worded that in a way that sounds like us or you. It's not, it's so you
Yeah.
got to be a little bit careful with that. But it's a great option and a great
Well,
resource.
apparently what actually it was the chair's daughter who knows a lot about GPT. She got two versions. One was more a report-like style, and the other one was a conversational style. So you can actually tell
Hmm.
it what style you want it.
Cool.
Yes.
And so I think there's a future there for a virtual secretary.
A virtual
And a lot,
secretary. I
yeah,
like
a
that
lot of that
part.
is the skill around using Chat GPT and these other resources is not just asking, but how you ask it
It's
and the
how
way
you
in which
ask.
Yeah.
that is just as important as just using it. And
Well,
oftentimes when I write something or want something to write, I'll give it, say, this is from the perspective of me sending a message to this person. I want it to be informal,
Mhm.
or, I'll just, what type of emotion I went behind it. But then I go back and I look at it to make sure that, does that really sound like Greg? Because
Yeah.
oftentimes it doesn't. So then I'll go through and I'll edit it to make sure that it sounds, reasonable. But the other thing is, I think over time it can start to recognize your writing style.
Yeah.
And I haven't got that advanced with it, but there's a lot of things you can do with this. So
Well,
okay, so
let's plan on doing that in the future.
Yeah.
so that sounds
Yeah.
like an educational presentation to me.
Yep.
That sounds like a
actually,
really
it would
fun
be
one. Yeah.
yeah. And ChatGPT just came out with a new version too,
Yeah,
which
version
I haven't
5.
even looked at. Yeah.
All right. Moving
All
along,
right.
I see you need some help to return items to storage for the picnic.
Yes, I seriously
I'll
do.
volunteer to do that.
Thank you. Oh my God, John, thank you so much. Because when I went to take, well, it's a long story. I've been there 3 times in a week and a half, just to take inventory, because when Sharon couldn't supply her stuff, I had to go see what we needed to buy, which is nothing. Thank you, Cece, for offering to do that, but we don't need anything but napkins.
Napkins and lemonade and tea.
I think we don't need the tea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this last trip I took over there, there's still some in there.
Okay.
I don't know how old it is. I think with John and I went in there last summer, or last fall, and threw out the stuff that was not from 1996.
Yeah.
So don't buy a ginormous thing of it. But there is some tea, and I noticed it when I was there last week or Tuesday or whatever day it was, and I didn't look at the date on it. So I think we're okay on tea. It's just a
Okay.
little, although it's probably $1.96 to
Yeah, I was
buy.
going to say, I don't think they're that expensive.
Yeah,
It would
but
be better.
maybe you should just go ahead and get it. But yeah, and there are some dryer sheets in there, but
What are those
I
for,
think
by
that
the
we
way?
should
Yeah,
probably
what are
keep
the
them.
dryer sheets for?
Yeah.
Bugs, bug deterrent.
Oh,
Really?
It
Okay.
keeps the yellow jackets away, and it actually works. So,
okay.
and we used several last year. I after we spread the tablecloths, we took the dryer sheets and wiped them all over the tablecloths and the garbage cans and the posts there in the building, and it did make a difference. Now the yellow jackets, Stan, I'm sorry, Stan and Lynn aren't here. But the yellow jackets that we think are yellow jackets that are at that picnic are not actually bees. They're actually something that looks like a bee that do not sting. So if anybody asks you, oh my God, there's so many bugs, so many yellow jackets, they're not actually yellow jackets. They're little tiny things that
Okay.
are called something else that look like yellow jackets. So just FYI. But thank you, John, so much, because there are more bins because we need to bring the paper plates and stuff that's in there. And I can bring a dolly. We have a dolly, but I don't think I could physically get the dolly in and out of my car or the car, and there's no way I could do it by myself. So
I'll bring the truck.
okay. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, what a relief. Okay, otherwise, I think everything's in place. I know there are lots of our board members that are out of town during the picnic, and I think that when we meet for the COMCOM meeting after the picnic, I think we need to seriously evaluate whether or not to do it on a Saturday again. And I think we need to establish who's going to do what before we schedule the picnic, because it's been a scramble to find help
Yeah.
to do it. And frankly, it's been stressful for me because I didn't know you saved my bacon, but all of you did. So I really greatly appreciate that. Any questions or comments or whatever? I think we're square now. Thank you
Carrie?
so much. Yes.
I signed up to help in the beginning, and I'm actually bringing Barb Halley, so you'll have an extra. She'll
Great.
help.
Oh, good. Oh, it's
Barb Halley's on my list, Cece.
Yeah, well, okay.
Yay.
You guys do not put pressure on her, but I'm bringing her and I'm going to talk to her about that possibility. But she has been sort of reluctant just to get involved because she lives up in
Yeah, she's
Woodland.
Washington somewhere.
Yeah, Woodland, north of me. I
Woodland?
mean, it's north of Ridgefield. So
Yeah.
she's at least a half hour north of me, and I'm in North Vancouver. So just know I'm working on her. I'm bringing her at the picnic. So we'll have an extra set of helping hands. I'm sure she'll pitch in. I didn't ask her, but I told her I'd volunteered. So if she's going with me,
Well,
she'll be there.
I'm so glad to know she's
Good.
going to be there.
Which is why I can't help at the end, because I need to get her back home.
You're going to the store. That's
Well, I know, but I would normally volunteer to stick around and help after, but because I'm bringing her, I don't want to keep her any longer than the picnic.
Yeah, you
great.
don't want to put her to work the first day.
Right. Well, she can help set up, but I don't want to say set up and clean up. So anyway,
Yeah, well,
that's the backstory. So just don't put too much pressure on her. I'll be working on her.
and it's going to be, I took pictures last year and 2 years ago. So I have pictures of how the setup has been.
Oh, good.
So we're going to need, and I've never been in charge of the setup before. And frankly, that's not I'm rusty at that. But anyway, so I'm just saying, however that gets set up, there's no rules. We just figure it out.
Okay.
So if you
So,
see something that
Terry,
needs
did
to
you
be-
get a hand truck for when Mike and I get there at 8:30?
I have a hand truck that I'll bring.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think I can easily get it in and out of my car. And I'm not
Well,
sure.
we can get it out if you can get it in, because I'll have
Yeah.
Mike
Oh,
with
John
me.
will be here to get it in.
Okay.
And then I can just put this, but it's nice that we'll have two vehicles on both ends so that I don't have to get the baby seat out of the back seat, and it'll be so awesome. Thank you so much. What a relief. Okay, enough about
You had your hands up.
Yes, I'm sorry, I will miss the picnic, but hopefully you assign someone to take the group photo. I'm interested in that.
Oh, no, we have not assigned somebody to take that, but thank you
I'll
for the
do that.
reminder.
Cece will do it.
Cece will do it. Oh, thank you, Cece. Oh, that's awesome. And I think we'll try to take that when lunch is finished. And I think last year worked out much better to say 11 to 2 instead of 11 to 3, because what happened the year prior, people showed up at 2 o'clock thinking there would still be an hour of picnic, and everybody was gone. So that's why, and if people are still there at 3 o'clock, that's totally fine. But I think that they need to know that, lunch doesn't last 3 hours.
Right.
So, anyway, okay. And
Do
then
you know how many employees sign up to join?
well, we didn't have a sign up. We ended
No.
up not doing that, Minhan. We just let it be by invitation only. And so I don't expect,
Yeah, the reason we changed to Saturday because, you know,
with
Thought
the,
we-
yeah, and then we opted to not do that because it got, I don't know, a couple of reasons. I don't remember what they
I
are.
agree.
Yeah.
So
So-
what's the average turnout historically? What has it been?
I think it's been about 50. It's in the plan. I didn't pull that up, but I think
That's okay.
historically it's been about 50.
Okay, I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she see, we also have a group pictures that in the last 2 years I took them. It's
Okay.
quite a crowd.
Yeah.
And they prefer at a certain spot because that way it's landed and everybody can see everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for the reminder, Minhong. I would have forgotten about that. And I'll put that in the plan to do.
Yeah, please do, because I don't think I'll forget, but if we get busy, then a little reminder is good.
Yeah, no, we've got a Wrangler now. So anyway. Okay, educational presentation, we talked, whoops.
Oh,
I,
we got the golf events there.
yeah, golf. John, do you have anything you want to say about the Charbonneau event?
No, with Ed's help, I think we're going to have five tee times. That's about 20, less than 20 people.
Oh, that's
I'm
I'm
good.
happy with that. Bring your grandkids. We could have had a different theme, I think, for Charbonneau. It is the home course for several of the local high schools. The Wilsonville girls team has won, golf team has won the state championship a couple of years in a row, and this is their home course. So it's a great course for young people, and there's lots of grandpa and the kids out playing golf here
Nice.
in a very garden-like setting. So we may use that in the future rather than saying, "Oh, this is Dory it's truly a competitive golf event."
Yes, and I am in that one, surprisingly.
And I think Charbonneau is
Yeah.
come and play golf
I like Charbonneau better.
Yeah. So we'll improve it in the future, its marketability.
Okay, and Doris, we've sent, I think 2 communications have been sent for both of those events. So, all right. And I don't think there's anything to talk about the picnic or the holiday luncheon yet. But that'll be on the agenda coming right up. Now, do we want to host that educational presentation about Medicare options? If we do, we got to get on the stick about that. So do we want to do that? And yes or no?
Yeah, can I
I'm
just
not-
jump in and say something about that? So,
Yeah.
as you know, as Sherry, as you and I discussed, and John and I talked a little bit about it yesterday, is today we should, as a board, decide whether we want to have a presentation,
Mhm.
not who does the presentation.
Right.
And then when the COMCOM committee meets the week after next or next week, let's then, assuming the board approves having the presentation, then we can talk about who we want to recruit to do that, whether we want to use the same person as last year or use somebody different. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So
So anyway,
do we even want to do it? That's the question of the hour.
that's the question on the table right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would make a motion that it is an annual thing that we do, and COMCOM can select without board approval who, but that it's an important piece in paying attention to our retirees. Hey, what are the changes coming? And that kind. I think it's very important that this organization has that kind of service or benefit, even if only 1 or 2 people show up or 10 people show up.
Mhm.
I think that the 900 appreciate an organization that cares about them, even though they may not need this. So the branding of our organization is we do this every year. Whether or not everybody needs it or not, I think it's an important thing to do. That's my pitch. So yes.
I would argue that I don't think we need to we should commit to that right now. I mean, I
Well,
totally agree. I totally agree with you, John, but committing to something that I think that's biting off a big chunk of, I mean,
So I think my opinion would be it would be more beneficial that when we know of some good topic and some good speaker that we put that forth and not try to do something routinely
because.
or annually.
which is kind of what we do right now.
So let me just offer, because I had follow up on this that we can get into more at our COMCOM meeting, but
Yay.
the presenter I was trying to identify, I needed to go through Fisher Investments to identify because Fisher was the host. And they finally got back to me and said they would be happy to do the presentation and we could have them do the exact same presentation that I witnessed back in April. I have the slide deck. I could share it with you. You can look at it and see if that's content that you want, and they will do it. They will host it. I just said, I need to talk to the board because I thought we were trying to keep it very informal, and I don't know how the board feels about having an investment firm. Kind of, I mean, obviously they're getting a little bit of advertising, if you will, out of them doing the presentation, but they seem more than happy to do it. And I gave them a timeline and I said, let me talk to my board and find out if this is something that they would want to do or not. So that's what I can offer. I think like I said, I'll share the slide deck with you guys so you can see what I witnessed that I thought was really good, that made me feel like, gosh, we could get something better than what we had the last time. But the downside is they're going to do advertising for Fisher Investments.
yeah, yeah,
How everybody feels about that. So,
I like it.
yeah.
okay.
So we got two options, it sounds like. So the question now is, do we want to move forward or give delegate this to the communications committee?
Well, I'd like to see the slide deck. I'd like to see
Okay.
the slide deck,
Let
but
me send it to you.
but we can, when is our
Is
I may miss the COMCOM meeting next week. So we're the COMCOM right now. We can decide right now. We want to move forward with
that's
that.
a good idea.
Yeah.
So, is Fisher going to charge anything?
My understanding is no. I told him it was a board of retirees and it was just kind of a friendship organization. So my impression is no. I think they're willing to do it because they get some advertising out of it, basically. That's my skeptical assessment of why they're willing to do it.
Yeah. So it
Well-
still may be, once we look at the deck of stuff, it still may be very valuable information.
It would be. It would
And
be.
if we were to put it out there that this is Fisher sponsored to talk about information that we think is valuable to share,
Yep.
I don't know, how do other people feel?
I think that PGE retirees are a pretty smart bunch.
Yeah.
Can easily suss out the difference between marketing and valuable information. That's my opinion. And if we don't endorse it, just simply make it available, I
Yep.
think that's our role. We're not
Yeah.
promoting anybody,
Right.
Well,
but
and yeah.
retirees are pretty smart.
And then CC, this is about the different options, right? And the different advantages and disadvantages to the options, correct? Because
Gosh.
that's what we were aiming for.
Okay. I'd have to look back at the presentation to
Okay.
tell you the truth, Terry. Now it's been a couple of months, so
Okay.
I haven't looked at it really recently. I was trying to track them down because it was a Fisher representative and this special Medicare person that joined them that did most of the presentation that I found so valuable. So I was just trying to get the subject matter expert.
Mhm.
I was trying to get their contact and I wanted to invite them privately. but because I had to go through Fisher to identify who that was,
Yeah, because
that's
I
when
think,
they were, like,
yeah, I think
jumping on
that
board.
for me, the difference is between Fisher presenting it and a Medicare person talking about the different options and
Right.
advantages, because that's what we talked about.
Right. That's
Um,
right.
So I think that is to me anyway, that's an easy differentiation between having
Yes.
the investment firm versus the content of the Medicare option piece.
Well, and the way he talked about it, he said we could do the same presentation. So to me, I took that as they would have that subject matter expert being part of the conversation.
Oh, that's great.
But, that's again a clarity. I just didn't want to be too committal with him because I was getting the vibes about why are you offering to do this?
Yeah, yeah.
So I just didn't want to commit until we had this conversation a little bit more. So
Okay.
anyway,
So Cece, are you going to send us then the presentation so we
yes,
can review
I
it?
will send.
Okay.
I will send all of you the presentation.
Yeah.
I'll do it while we're on the call if I can figure out how to do that without
Okay.
connecting myself.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'll send it as soon as this meeting's over.
Oh,
And so then
awesome.
all of you, we should all review this before the COMCOM meeting so we can talk about this next week.
Yes,
Good.
please.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm going to put AI as another as an option for the COMCOM to discuss. So we can maybe bump that into February or something when we're all
Yeah,
down
absolutely.
in
It
our
would,
homes. So okay, let me see. Plugged in, John. I think we already talked about that, right?
Yes.
Anything else you want us to
yeah.
know?
Yes, the print version is down to 49 people. So a
Oh,
couple.
really? Oh, good.
So and I took it in Saturday, but the person wasn't there, so I will be working with them on the phone to get the print version out this week. I'm limiting myself. I'm really cutting back on the digital version to get it to be just 20 pages because that gets you, I think, where we don't have to have two U.S. stamps on it. So there's a weight issue.
Yeah.
So I really am cutting out things like maybe the photo section or something because we're not printing in color anyway. So there's some editing that goes on there that to get it down to that 20 pages is the limit. I don't want to have to. U.S. postage is just so expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, no updates on Facebook. I know there's still some imposters there that we have to check on with Leanne every once in a while. But and then in terms of the website, I think if there's no discussion, I think if there's anything that you see that's glaring, needs updating or whatever, send a note to PGE retirees, and our webmasters will get back to you on that if there are questions. And then the other thing I wanted to make sure that we we're the committee, so you already know that there's elevator speech options that will make a conversation easier. And Patty, thank you so much for creating that phone contact. That was brilliant. And so we can I'll bring some of the business cards to the meeting or to the picnic, but I think it's going to be, hey, you get your phone out. Well,
Everybody should try
airdrop this
to do
address
at
to
least
you.
two.
I'm sorry, what?
Everybody should try to do at least two contact shares.
That's a great goal. That's a great
Mhm.
goal.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. My guess is that most of the people that are there are already on the contact list, but nonetheless, then they will have it in their phone that they can then share it, which is a good point. So, okay, awesome. I think that's the report. I tried to keep it
Awesome.
short.
Great report. Thank you. Thank you, Terry. All right. Did that include the activities report?
Yes.
Okay. Nominations committee, is there anything you want to talk about, Patty? I know you just got assigned that, so you I'm not sure if you're really prepared to say anything, but I just thought I'd put it out there in case you had anything you wanted to share.
So it
Well,
looks like the nominating committee is pretty much on this meeting also, right?
Mhm.
So I've got Cece and John, myself, and Terry.
Well, I'm sort of on the committee. I'll
Well,
help with it.
you're a good negotiator though with people, so.
Well, if you need, here's the deal. I'm happy to call people that I know if you think it would be, if it would make a difference.
Okay,
So,
and
but
so,
I don't need to be on the committee officially
okay.
necessarily.
So anybody else besides the 3.5?
I thought there was one more. I'd have to go back and look at my notes that someone raised their hand. No, CC, I think that's it.
It's me.
Yeah.
I owe you all a Zoom meeting to go through the formal process is what is on my list to say, well, here's kind of the schedule.
My mom's
So I will get that done.
down, going mom's thing.
Okay, if you could put that together, we'll
Yep.
come together and share the list of people, like to brainstorm some of the people that we think about. And maybe each of you could do a list like I did, and we can kind of take the cream of the crop and divide and conquer.
Perfect.
That's a good idea. I'd be happy to do that
Okay.
too. Also, sorry, I get it.
Okay. Okay, so now a new business. Patty, I put this on here. I'm not sure if it needed to be on here or we already did this or whether this is for another meeting, but it was sort of a carryover from the last agenda about adopting the board recognition policy. Have we done that yet? I just couldn't remember.
I don't
Or
know
is
if
it-
we formally did it or not, but I know that I left it the way it was. We had a little bit of discussion about, I made it read like the bylaws. And there was some discussion about that there was going to be a change in the bylaws, but I think we all agreed that we would leave it as is until we revise the bylaws. Is that what anybody else remembers?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but it does sound vaguely familiar,
Yeah,
but
that's-
Okay.
yeah.
So my feeling is, if we need to formally adopt them, let's adopt them, and then we know that it's there. And if we have any change in bylaws, we can review some of those things at that time, but I think they should be similar.
So I have a question about that, because we had the conversation about those little coasters and we like the idea. Did that get incorporated? You know, a small little gift thing for the people that have, that are going to go to emeritus status, for example. I don't know how that, if it got worked into that plan. And
So
then
I think we had a discussion around that, but I think the actual, the policy is open to whatever we want it to be. I mean, I
Okay.
left it pretty vanilla so we can do, any kind of recognition.
Okay.
I'll double check for the emeritus, but, I think it's still open that we could do whatever we want.
Okay. And then Cece, did you have any luck with your fabulous new printer, your fancy printer with those coasters?
I know how it has to work, and I don't think our printer is going to do that because it's basically like shoot, now I've forgotten what the word is. It like kind of melts stuff on there. It's how what's it called?
A UV printer.
A UV printer. It requires a UV printer.
It
Was
requires a UV printer or you have a UV printer?
No, it requires a UV printer, which I
Okay.
do not have, but I'm still pursuing that, so don't give up yet.
Was that
Okay.
your AI bot you were talking to?
That's my husband bot that's very good at technical.
If you have something you need to take to a printer, I have a purchase program account through the National Chamber of Commerce at Office Depot. And so if you send me a PDF or whatever, I can get it printed.
Well, these were those little
The little
acrylic
disc.
coasters, little acrylic coasters that, and I don't, did you not see them? Well, we don't need to have a conversation about that
I'll
here.
follow up with you later, John.
All right. Yeah. For example, I just got a bill there. $22 went down to 17. $20 went down to 12. So it's a pretty deep discount.
That's great.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll follow up with you about it and see if that's something we could explore further, but I'm still looking for solutions, Terry.
Well, and I have a friend that can do, let me show you. I don't know if she can do plastic, but she can print this kind of stuff on things. So I'll ask her if hers is a UV printer, or is that what your machine does?
It prints on a lot of different stuff, but I don't.
I'll check
Okay.
because I might have another, we'd have to pay her a little bit to do it, but
Well, we're going to pay somebody, right? So the idea is to pay as little as we have to and
Exactly.
get them sooner, because you said it was taking 6
Well,
weeks.
yeah,
That's
it was
crazy.
a 6-week turnaround. That's what makes me, I mean, because they were cheap. They were like $4.99,
Yeah.
$4.99 each.
Yeah, I think.
But I'll check with Lindsay.
Okay. Yeah, UV printing is what we're looking for.
Okay, thank you for that. All right.
Okay, I think we're almost done here. So as a reminder, our next board meeting is October 13th and again on December 8th. Summer picnic is this Saturday. The golf at Charbonneau is the following day on August 17th. And then we also have, I didn't have it listed here, but the Rose City Golf Tournament in September, and then annual meeting November 17th and the holiday party on December 3rd.